Good morning. It is Friday. I'm hoping that this will start. Can you guys see me? Awesome. Happy Friday. It is the end of week 2 of our coronavirus school shutdown. I'm Meg Flanagan, education advocate, helping you find less stress and more success with your child's education plan. Yes, even during a coronavirus shutdown. So here's what's happening as you listen to my children scream in the background. So what's happening right now is schools across the United States are shut down, many of them for the duration of this current school year. Many, if not most of them, have been moving to virtual and distance learning options, such as using Google Classrooms or Google Drive to share and update resources and assignments, using Schoology, using RazKids, using all sorts of digital options to help your child learn and continue to grow and meet grade level expectations through the end of the school year. What this means for lots of parents is that you will be really much more of a hands-on parent in your child's education. You will be more accountable for their learning because you are now the one facilitating it. In addition to working full-time from home, probably, in addition to making sure that everyone stays healthy and safe during this time, and in addition to really maintaining your own sanity at this moment. I am also trying to homeschool my children, a preschooler and a kindergartner, while running this business and working in other ways as well, such as freelancing and seeing how my own school is going to handle the shutdown. What are my obligations as a teacher? I work in an unconventional role. I'm a Title I teacher outside of this, so we're still not sure how this is going to impact my role as a teacher. But what I do know is how this can impact your role as a parent of a child with special education services or 504 plan services like speech, language therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, or modified learning expectations. So last week, or earlier this week, I should say, and the Office of Civil Rights put out a joint statement clarifying how services should be provided or not provided to students with education plans and disabilities during this critical time. The part I want to have you pay attention to is the end of page 2 and the beginning of page 3. This deals specifically with students with disabilities in the K-12 setting. And so the beginning of page 2, the end of page 2, the beginning of that section is very important because it spells out that if schools are providing a service to general education students, they should also legally be providing services to students with education plans. However, there's the first paragraph on page 3 seems to contradict that, but it actually doesn't. What it says that if schools are not providing services to anyone else, then they are off the hook legally for providing services to special education students. This is going to bring up a mixed bag of options across the country. Some schools are already hard passing on providing any educational options to any students in order to skirt their legal obligation to special education students. I find this morally abhorrent and ethically completely terrible. What they're basically saying is, great, we're ending the school year and y'all are left on your own to figure this out as best you can. You're welcome. They're giving no options to anyone in order to avoid giving options to children who potentially need it the most. The kiddos with IEPs and 504 plans who are struggling or will likely be unable to meet developmental norms of their same age peers, their chronological peers. Wherever your child falls on the spectrum of that, if this is what your district is doing, I would encourage you to reach out to OCR, the Office of Civil Rights in your state or nationally, as well as the ACLU. to find out what options you have legally. This becomes a legal issue very quickly. If your school is providing any options for distance learning to any child, you now have the case very easily made for you that your child with an education plan, should also be provided learning opportunities. These will look different than in the normal everyday learning opportunities section. And so what this is going to entail is that students are going to be, I'm trying to publish a poll, I'm sorry. It's not working, that's okay. What this means is that if your child's school is providing options for anyone else, they should be providing some options for you. No, I'm working. No, if you don't, goodbye. If you interrupt me one more time, you're going to put a timeout. Goodbye. Goodbye. Sorry. This is what mom and working at home looks like in real time. So what this means for you is going to be a couple different things. So you are going to need to fight extra hard for your child to get the supports and services that they need. The language in the Department of Ed and OCR joint coronavirus fact sheet is very clear. And what it says is basically, if a student who has an individualized education program is required to stay home, is required or advised to stay home by public health authorities or school officials for an extended period of time, provisions should be made to maintain education services. So what that means for you is that your student should still be getting services. So if they receive speech and language services, if they receive OT services, your child's school is going to need to find a way to work with you in order to make this a viable option. You're going to want to really advocate hard on behalf of your child at this time. So what this means is if your child is receiving speech and language, you're going to want to be getting in contact with your child's IEP team or whatever service they receive. You're going to want to be getting in contact with your child's education team in order to coordinate services. Express that, based on the DOE's guidance combined with OCR's guidance, your child is entitled to some form of services, and now we need to figure out what those services look like. This is absolutely critical and vital for your child's growth. It's legally required in their education plan, and it is legally required by now the Department of Education and OCR jointly. So some options that you have across the board are virtual services. Hop onto a Zoom call or a FaceTime or what have you with your child's teacher or service provider as many times a week as possible. Just having a quick, 15, 20-minute chat with them, even if it's just you, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, chatting with them and figuring out what to do this week with them on a Monday night or, Monday during the day. Hey, what do I need to be working on with my child right now to meet their IEP goals or to help them continue or to maintain progress or continue to progress them forward? What do I need to do right now? This could be emails back and forth with the teacher with modified work for your child to do during the week. It could be coordinating through a learning app like Raz Kids or Clever or BrainPop or any of those, IXL, Khan Academy, with actual hands-on learning opportunities. Well, not really hands-on, virtual learning opportunities for your child. All of these are adjustable. They have teacher platforms embedded in them where teachers can connect with their students. I know this because I've been setting my Title I students assignments through those programs for this whole year, and I've used Khan Academy for many years, both for myself, my child now, and for my students for as long as Khan Academy has really been around and offered the teacher platform to connect with students. I've been using it that way. It's very, very easy to use, very easy to figure out. So these are all options, is using apps, using virtual video conferencing, getting things that you can print off at home and use, communication back and forth. Really, maintaining communication is the absolute best way that you can help your child right now. And again, this is if your child's school is providing some educational options to other students without education plans. That means with kids who don't have IEPs or 504 plans. In some cases, gifted education plans, gifted IEPs are lumped in with IEPs and 504 plans as legally required services. And so if you live in a state where your child has a legally mandated at the state level GIEP, that means that your child is also entitled to gifted education services at this time as well. Just in the states where they're legally a thing. Not every state has it as a legal thing, because gifted education is not enshrined under either the ADA or IDEA. Which brings me to another point. If you're caught in the middle of the evaluation, reeval, or triennial process, even the annual even the annual IEP review process, right now is a really crucial time for you to be advocating for your child. I know that lots of schools are not offering any options for meetings with anybody for anything at this time, and that's fine. That technically the school building is shut and teachers are working from home just like you. However, many schools across the country are offering virtual options for IEPs or meetings generally, meaning that you can hop on a Zoom call or FaceTime or Skype or what have you to have a chat with your child's education team, have that parent-teacher conference. And so having those options right now is absolutely critical for you, for your child, for what is happening right now. So the things that I would like you to be keeping in mind is reach out to your child's school, ask them what their options are for general education students, what are they providing, and how are they planning to meet your child's IEP or 504 plan needs during this uncertain time. Ask them if virtual meetings are an option. Ask them if what digital learning apps or platforms they have available to everyone and how those can be modified for your child. You're going to ask all sorts of great questions like that. If you need help getting the words out there, if you need help asking those hard questions, because yes, it will be very hard to ask these questions and it will be very hard to get a straight answer out of anyone, mostly because frankly, we don't know what's happening. Every single day brings a brand new set of data to us in the form of updated infection rates and updated death tolls, updated guidances from various education-related departments at the local, state, and national level, updated everything. Everything updates every single day, if not multiple times a day. Just from where we were 2 weeks ago, I remember 2 weeks ago on Friday, we were talking about in Virginia a 2-week mandatory shutdown, and now Governor Northam has shut down schools for the duration of the school year at least. We were talking about social distancing, but still being able to kind of go out and do things. And now we're leaning more towards lockdown status across the country, with some cities and states already enforcing this. So things are changing every single day, which means that things change for schools every single day. And schools across the country are having to adopt a new platform for learning. Most schools, unless they're already a virtual K-12 school, are not really equipped for doing this in many areas. Whether they just don't have the technology resources because of funding, whether their students' homes don't have the technology resources because of socioeconomic status or what have you, whether they are really just an old school where things are done with physical textbooks and physical manipulatives and pencil paper all the time. And so, things are going to look different in every single school. But I do want to share how I can help you. So there are definitely some ways that I can help you. I can help you by reviewing your child's current IEP or 504 plan, figuring out together how we can make this stronger going into next year, and starting to communicate that plan to the school team in writing. I will review your plan top to bottom and help you understand why things are happening a certain way and what they might look like down the road in the future, and how you can leverage this plan to get certain services and supports even when your child's school is physically not open. I can help you to understand the data. If you've gotten your testing completed but you haven't yet had the meeting to determine the evaluation results, I'd be glad to hop on a call with you and anyone from your school to chat about what the data means. This is a virtual meeting attendance option where either I virtually sit down with you and the testing people or the entire IEP team or committee to chat about what's happening with that data and those results. Chat about what it means for your child. I can help you transfer everything into a digital folder, basically a digital Google Drive folder, and help you set up an organizational system. This is what I do for every single client that I've ever worked with. Everything lives virtually in a really well organized folder on my Google Drive, which is then shared privately to families. I can help you with communicating with your child's team, helping you to understand the next steps forward, helping you to understand what next year might look like, help you to create an at-home learning program for your child. I'm happy and willing to do all of these things, and you can learn more about all of these options at megflanagan.com/education-advocacy. And I'm putting the link right there in the comments now, so you can just click right there and book your appointment today. I have openings because now I work 5 days a week on this business. So if you have concerns or questions, I am here. I have openings available, and I would love to help you and your child find less stress and more success at school. In the meantime, I would love for you to let me know what's happening at your child's school. What options are you being offered? Do you know what options are being offered to the general education students at your child's school? Do you know what options your child is being offered? Is work being modified for you, or is absolutely nothing happening? Maybe you're just not sure. So comment in the video to let me know what's happening at your child's school. As always, if you have questions or comments, you can drop a comment on a post. You can message me privately via this page, or you can email me at milkidsed@gmail.com. Stay safe out there, everyone, and I'll catch you next week.